Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Coco Gauff becomes first American woman to win the French Open since Serena Williams. On June 7, Coco Gauff made history as the first American woman to win the French Open since Serena Williams in 2014, and the youngest to do so since Serena's dominant run in 2002, when she captured the US Open, French Open, and Wimbledon titles. Gauff's victory was nothing short of electrifying, as she pulled off a stunning second come-from-behind win, this time toppling world No. 1 Aryna Sabalenka in dramatic fashion. According to The Athletic, Gauff kept her cool after dropping the first set 6-7, but rebounded and outplayed Sabalenka in the next two sets, winning those sets 6-2 and 6-4, respectively. Initially, Sabalenka tried to force Gauff to defend the biggest weapon in her arsenal, her drop shot, which combined with her power game has often rendered her unbeatable. But as the wind picked up, Sabalenka's tactics deteriorated, and Gauff pounced on her mistakes, pressuring her opponent into more unforced errors via her trademark brand of impeccable backline defense. In contrast to Sabalenka's meltdown, which she did not hide from her opponent at all, Gauff was the essence of cool, barely giving her opponent any bad body language to read. Following the match too, Gauff was graceful and magnanimous in victory, offering her opponent praise, a gesture that the Belarusian would seem incapable of returning in her post-aim presser. First, I'd like to thank God for always keeping me in his corner. I'm just happy to be here. A lot of hard knocks. It means a lot to be here. I'd also like to congratulate Aryna. You're the No. 1 player in the world, and it was a tough match. You deserve all the results you get, and every time we play it's such a tough match for me. So congratulations, Gauff said in the encore interview after the match concluded. After addressing and thanking her coaches, Gauff turned to her parents. You guys keep me grounded and give me the belief. Thanks, and I love you guys. To my brothers at home, you are the reason I do this, and you inspire me more than you know. Honestly, I didn't think I could do it, but I'm going to quote Tyler, the creator, right here. He said, "If I ever told you I had a doubt inside me, I must be lying. I was lying to myself. So thanks to Tyler, and thanks to you guys." Gauff also mused briefly on the state of her home country in her post-match press conference, and stated fairly clearly her desire to be a role model for people who look like her, ostensibly black women. Gauff, an athlete who has stated her desire to use her racket to change the world, before expressed her belief that although there's a lot going on in our country right now, she wants to represent those who maybe don't feel as supported during this period, and so just being that reflection of hope and light. Coco Gauff. A new chapter in American tennis. On June 7, 2025, Coco Gauff etched her name into tennis history by becoming the first American woman to win the French Open since Serena Williams a decade earlier. In a gripping final at Roland Garros, Gauff overcame world No. 1 Aryna Sabalenka with a 6-7, 5-7, 6-2, 6-4 victory, securing her second Grand Slam title after her 2023 US Open triumph. Manifestation and mental resilience. Gauff's journey to this monumental win was not just about physical prowess, but also mental fortitude. She revealed that she had written, "I will win French Open 2025" on a piece of paper, a manifestation technique inspired by Olympic gold medalist Gabby Thomas. This practice helped her navigate periods of self-doubt and anxiety, reinforcing her belief in her capabilities. A tribute to the Williams sisters. Growing up as a black woman in America, Gauff often found herself without role models who looked like her in the sport of tennis. The Williams sisters, Serena and Venus, were her guiding lights. Their resilience and achievements paved the way for her. Reflecting on her victory, Gauff dedicated her triumph to the black community in America, especially those who felt marginalized. She expressed her hope that her success would bring light and inspiration to those who needed it most. Overcoming setbacks. This victory was particularly poignant for Gauff, as it came after a challenging loss in the 2022 French Open final to Iga Swiatek. That defeat had led her to question her abilities. However, with the support of her mother and a renewed sense of purpose, Gauff returned stronger, showcasing her growth both on and off the court. A symbol of hope. Beyond her athletic achievements, Gauff has become a symbol of hope and resilience. Her victory resonated deeply within the black community in America, offering a sense of representation and pride. Her journey underscores the importance of perseverance, self-belief, and the power of positive visualization. The red clay of Roland Garros has long been a battleground where legends are forged, tears are shed, and history is written with the sweat of greatness. And on a warm June afternoon in Paris, beneath a sky that seemed to hold its breath with every stroke, a new chapter was etched into tennis history. Coco Gauff became the first American woman to win the French Open since Serena Williams. She stood at the baseline, eyes wide not with fear, but with something fiercer: belief. Across the net, her opponent fought like a warrior, but Gauff was sculpting her masterpiece. Each forehand echoed like a drumbeat of destiny, each backhand a brushstroke of genius across the ochre canvas of Court Philippe Chatrier. When the final ball sailed wide, Coco dropped her racket and fell to her knees. The crowd erupted, a thunderous salute not only to victory, but to a rival. The torch passes. It had been more than 2 decades since a 19-year-old Serena Williams shocked the tennis world and claimed her first Roland Garros crown in 2002. Since then, no American woman had managed to reign on Parisian clay. Until now, Gauff, just 21 years old, broke the spell with a game that was not only technically brilliant but emotionally electric. There was something poetic in this moment. Serena, now retired, had been the North Star for a generation of black female athletes. Gauff, once a 15-year-old prodigy who made headlines at Wimbledon by defeating Venus Williams, now steps into a spotlight that once seemed too vast to occupy. No longer a rising star, Coco Gauff is a champion. From promise to power. Coco Gauff's journey was never just about talent. From her early days training in Florida to her breakout performances in juniors, the world knew she was special. But it was her resilience, maturity, and social consciousness that set her apart. While most teenagers struggle with identity, Coco used her platform to speak about racial justice, mental health, and the pressures of young fame. This win in Paris was not an isolated moment. It was the culmination of years of evolution. Gauff had tasted defeat on this very stage before, notably losing the 2022 final to Iga Swiatek. That loss, rather than breaking her, lit a fire. She returned to Roland Garros not as an underdog, but as a contender with unfinished business. The match that changed everything. The final was a showcase of modern women's tennis. Aggressive, fast-paced, cerebral. Gauff's opponent brought her A game, matching Coco in athleticism and nerve. The rallies were punishing, some lasting over 20 strokes. The players driving each other to the very edge of their endurance. But Gauff had something extra. It wasn't just her movement, which looked like poetry in motion. It wasn't only her blistering serve or her improved net play. It was her ability to adapt, to solve the puzzle in front of her, to draw strength from the moment, rather than shrink beneath its weight. As the match drew closer to its climax, the chants of Coco rolled down the stands. They weren't just cheers, they were coronations. And when victory came, Gauff didn't roar, she cried. Not from surprise, but from recognition. She had known she belonged here. Now, the world did too. Beyond the trophy, winning the French Open is a career-defining achievement. But for Coco Gauff, it's something more. A gateway. A message to every little girl who picked up a tennis racket and dreamed. A signal to every doubter who whispered that she peaked too early, that she wasn't ready, that she was just hype. She is not hype. She is history. Already, pundits are comparing her to the greatest. Some whisper that the Serena era has found its hair. But Gauff, wise beyond her years, resists the comparison. Serena is the GOAT, she said in the press room, her cheeks still glistening with sweat and tears. I'm just Coco. I want to make my own story. And what a story it is. A symbol for the times. In a world often fractured by division, Coco Gauff has become more than an athlete. She is a cultural force. A young black woman succeeding on a global stage, speaking truth with grace, commanding respect with quiet power. Her win in Paris comes at a moment when representation and visibility matter more than ever. Her journey is a lesson in persistence, humility, and vision. She didn't take shortcuts. She trained, she listened, she failed, and she came back stronger. She honored the game and those who came before her. And when it was time, she took her place. Not in someone else's shadow, but in her own light. The future is now. With the French Open trophy clutched tightly in her arms, Coco Gauff took the microphone and thanked her parents, her team, the fans, and even her critics. "You all made me stronger," she said. The crowd roared. In that moment, she wasn't just speaking for herself. She was speaking for a new generation.